So it's time to have a look at my FPL Game Week 8 transfer plans, but first things first, a quick update on how Game Week 7 went. We got 62 points, which meant I got a green arrow from 1.3 million up to 700k, which is really nice because it is my first green arrow in a long time, I'm not gonna lie. But of course, I'm not really gonna talk about how Game Week 7 went because we already have uploaded a video on that. So yeah, if you want to see that, go check that out. But guys, let's waste no more time and let's have a look at my Game Week 8 transfer plans. So as you guys can see, these are the moves that I am considering for Game Week 8, and of course I've got 3 free transfers, which means I am very flexible in what I can do, and I actually do plan to take out Kai Havertz for Dominic Solanke and also take out Anton Semenyo for Emil Smith-Rowe. Now in my opinion, Anton Semenyo has to go, right? He has to go. I think the fixtures are really tough. You know, he's got Arsenal at home, then Villa away, then Man City at home, right? So I feel like I have to take him out, especially when I do have 3 free transfers. Now I'm going for Smith-Rowe because I think Smith-Rowe, in my opinion, is probably one of the best options to have at his price point. Now, some people may argue that Smith-Rowe is now a minutes risk because he is actually, because he got benched in the last game against Man City, but I don't think that is the case. I think there was always a possibility of either Andres Pereira or Emil Smith-Rowe to be benched in that game against Man City, right? Because ultimately, it's pretty insane to play a midfield three of Lukic, Andres Pereira and Emil Smith-Rowe, right? Man City would absolutely just run riot through that midfield with the players that they have. So it made sense that Marco Silva, the Fulham manager, did sort of tighten things up in the midfield and bring in Berg to play alongside Lukic as like 2 holding midfielders, right? So Smith-Rowe, in my opinion, was always a risk of being dropped in that game. It just didn't make sense him starting with Andres Pereira in midfield for that game. So what I'm trying to say essentially is that I don't think, generally speaking, Smith-Rowe is going to be a player that you're going to see get benched regularly. I don't think that's going to happen unless he's got an injury. I don't think that's going to happen. So I still think Emil Smith-Rowe is going to continue to start games for for Fulham, and for that reason I do like him as an option because I really do like the fixtures, right? So the fixtures are really nice for Fulham. They got Villa at home, then Everton away, Brentford at home, Palace away, then Wolves at home. We've seen, you know, Brentford concede, we've seen Everton concede so many goals, Brentford concede so many goals. Brentford are so poor defensively. Palace are really bad this season. Wolves have been one of the worst defensive team this season in the league. So I think these set of fixtures are really good. But ultimately, I do actually plan on keeping Emil Smith-Rowe for even longer than that, because what I plan to do, and we'll look at my future transfers for Game Week 9, 10, 11, 12 and so on, but what I plan to do is actually rotate Smith-Rowe. So essentially, by the time it gets to Game Week 13, I do plan to have another player that I can rotate Smith-Rowe with, so I can rotate Smith-Rowe in and out of the team, so I can sort of bench him for Arsenal, Liverpool, and play another player during these weeks. So that is the plan with Smith-Rowe. I think, like I said, at his price point, he is just simply one of the best players to own, in my opinion. So I still think Smith-Rowe is a good player to have in FPL at this moment in time, with the good fixtures that Fulham have coming up. And so far this season, Fulham have looked like a really good team. I think they've actually been one of the better teams in the Premier League this season. So yeah, I do like Smith-Rowe as an option. Now, some of you may be asking, guys, why am I taking out Kai Havertz? Now, the simple answer to that is I don't have enough money. I don't have the funds in one move to go from Semenyo to Smith-Rowe. I'm priced out of that by 0.1. So that means I have to free up some money somewhere else, and I'm going to do that by transferring in Dominic Solanke. I love Dominic Solanke as an option, and look, I know Kai Havertz has a great fixture against Bournemouth away, but like I said, I'm priced out. I have to do something. And look, for me, essentially, I would actually be bringing Dominic Solanke in Game Week 9 when Liverpool play against Arsenal, right? That's when I'm going to want to take out Kai Havertz for Dominic Solanke. So I might as well just bring that move 1 week forward, and that is essentially what I am doing. So I really do like Dominic Solanke because I think it's a really good entry point to bring in Solanke when he's playing against West Ham at home, right? West Ham at home in Game Week 8 is a fantastic fixture. West Ham have been one of the worst defensive sides so far in this Premier League season. Absolutely shocking. I cannot stress that enough. They concede, you know, every single game, and a lot of, you know, players have scored big and got FPL points against West Ham. So I think they certainly are a team to target, in my opinion. So for that reason, I think this is a great entry point for Dominic Solanke. He's playing in the number 9 in the Ange Postecoglou system. I think he's racked up a lot of chances so far this season, and he's only scored twice, but I really think he should have probably 3 or 4 goals so far this season. And I feel like he's got a big score sort of coming. I feel like he's going to explode in one of these game weeks. I can picture a hat-trick in my mind, but I can certainly picture Dominic Solanke scoring like 2 goals against West Ham, scoring 2 goals against Ipswich. You know, I think he's got some big scores coming in FPL, so that's why I do like Solanke. Of course, he didn't really do well against Brighton. I don't even think he had a shot in that game. I do think he had a pretty good game. You know, he was linking up well. He was involved in the first goal, but I don't think that's going to be a regular occurrence. Like 0 XG is crazy. I don't think that's going to be a regular occurrence at all. It's just a one-off, and I think, you know, look at the numbers that he's putting up offensively, right? You know, the offensive numbers, the XG numbers are really, really good for Solanke, and on the eye test, I can see him getting a lot of chances created for him. Like I said, he should have scored a lot more goals by now, right? He's only scored 2, but I think he should have like 3 or 4 as a minimum. So look, I think Dominic Solanke is an FPL asset waiting to explode, and I can see some big scores for him with these fixtures, some really, really nice fixtures. Even after Man City, he's got Fulham, Bournemouth, all right, Chelsea a bit tougher, but then Southampton. So I just think Dominic Solanke is a really, really good pick in my opinion, and that is why I do plan on transferring him in. And of course, Tottenham have been one of the best attacking sides so far in the Premier League season, right? Their XG numbers just on the eye test as well, absolutely fantastic. So that's why I do like Dominic Solanke. But guys, that is what I do plan on doing for game week 8. But now what we're going to do is have a quick look at how my team is going to set up in the future, right? I want to show you guys the reasoning behind these moves and sort of what that is going to lead to for the future game weeks in like game week 9, 10, 11 and 12 and so on. So yeah, let's get into that. Alright guys, so we are on planfpl.com, and as you guys can see, this is currently the team for game week 8. Now, I'm really excited for this part because there is genuinely a lot of things to consider, and these transfers that I'm going to make are really, really important because there are some important weeks, right, in FPL for me, and that is game week 12. So trying to get Palmer in for game week 12, but also game week 10, trying to get in Mohamed Salah, right? I genuinely want to get Mohamed Salah for game week 10. I want to attack those 3 good fixtures. I think Salah can score big in these games, and of course I think Cole Palmer is a great long-term hold from game week 12 onwards. So look, these weeks are extremely key in my opinion. Trying to find a way to get Salah in, to get Palmer in for those weeks with the transfers I have. Right, so first things first, I also do want to point out that I do have the option to actually start dibbling against Leicester at home. But I'm going to be honest, I don't want to do that. I could keep Kai Havertz. I could actually just roll the transfer again, right, and save the free transfer and actually rotate Dibbling with Semenyo. I just want to start off by saying that quickly, because then in game week 9, when Dibbling's got Man City away, I could then play Semenyo against Villa away, and then in game week 10, when Semenyo's got Man City at home, I could then play Dibbling who's playing against Everton at home. Now, that's a possibility, but I'm going to be totally honest, I just don't feel comfortable with doing that. If I'm being honest, I don't really feel comfortable with starting a Southampton player in my team. It just doesn't feel right to me, right? It just really doesn't feel right. So I'm not going to do that. I just wanted to let you guys know that that is a possibility, but I highly doubt I'm going to do that. I really don't think that that's going to happen, right? So with that being said, let's do the moves that I said I would do. So Semenyo out, Smith Rowe in. And then Havertz out for Solanke, right? So that's then how the team would shape up for game week 8, right? So that's what I do plan. And look, it looks pretty decent in my opinion. Not too bad at all, right? I think Foden can do really, really well against Wolves. I think Haaland can do well. Saka, Calvert-Lewin against Ipswich, and Mbeumo against United, Smith Rowe against Villa. I think generally this is a pretty decent team in my opinion. My only concern would be the fact that I've got double Liverpool defence against Chelsea at home. Chelsea have been a really good attacking team so far, but look, ultimately Liverpool have been the best defensive team so far this season, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, that's what it would look like for game week 8. Now game week 9, the plan is to roll, right? The plan is to roll, but I also would, if Mikalenko's back from injury, I would probably drop Konate and play Mikalenko against Fulham, which is pretty annoying because I do have Smith Rowe as well. I think this week is probably going to be probably a bad week for me because I've got, you know, Raya playing against Liverpool, Trent playing against Arsenal, Saka playing against Liverpool, you know, Smith Rowe playing against my Everton defender. It's just one of those weeks that probably won't, I probably won't get a high score, but it is what it is. I think the team overall looks pretty decent. But yeah, I would roll the transfer for game week 9. Now game week 10, this is key. This is extremely key. So at this point, we've got 3 free transfers. I would bring Konate back into the side. I'd start Smith Rowe against Brentford. And now look, Bukayo Saka is playing against Newcastle away. Now, I could leave the team as it is. I genuinely could leave the team as it is, and I could roll another week. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to sit on the fence. I want to attack the fixtures. I want to chase those high-scoring points. Look, Saka could return against Newcastle away. But in my opinion, Mohamed Salah playing against Brighton at home. Brighton are so bad defensively. So Mohamed Salah playing against Brighton at home is a much better fixture, right? I think Salah is more explosive than Bukayo Saka. I could see a big score for Salah in these games, and he's also a genuine captaincy option this week. So I'd take out Saka, I bring in Mohamed Salah, and I take out Trent Alexander-Arnold. Of course, I could keep Trent and keep Saka, but for me, I would rather the Liverpool attacker than the Liverpool defender in this case. I'd take out Trent. I've still got the Liverpool defensive cover by owning Konate, so it's not too bad. I'd take out Trent for 8 Nuri. That is the plan. 8 Nuri has a great fixture, who is also really attacking, and he's playing against Crystal Palace at home in game week 10. So that's my plan. That's my plan to sort of get Mohamed Salah in for game week 10, right? And the team looks really good this week again, especially assuming that Phil Foden starts as well. So really happy with the way the team looks this week. Then we would move on to game week 11, right? And game week 11, again, I could roll the transfer again, but I really could roll, because Calvert-Lewin is playing against West Ham away, and I might roll the transfer. However, at the moment, the plan is to take out Calvert-Lewin and bring in a really good differential, in my opinion, someone that has scored goals in La Liga. Wolves' new signing, Strand Larsen. So far this season, he's got 2 goals as well, and I just think Strand Larsen is a pretty good number 9. He is really decent, scored a lot of goals last season in La Liga, so I do think he's a good player. And yeah, man, Southampton at home in game week 11. So that would be the plan so far. I think, again, like I said, I could roll the transfer, but I think I would put in Strand Larsen, who's playing against Southampton at home, which is really nice. And yeah, the team looks really good, in my opinion, for this week. And then for game week 12, we have 2 free transfers, and this is key, right? This is really key, because game week 12, that is the week where Cole Palmer is playing against Leicester away from home, right? And I want Cole Palmer. He's so explosive. So this is the point where we take out Phil Foden, we take out Dominic Solanke, and that frees up some funds to go to Cole Palmer and Danny Welbeck. That is the plan. Of course, João Pedro might be fit, and if João Pedro is fit by this point, then it could be João Pedro as well, right? I do want to say that, but at the moment, it's Danny Welbeck, right? So that would be the plan, and the team looks really good. Also, what I love about this team is I've got 2 of the best captain options for this week, Cole Palmer and Mohamed Salah. Who I would captain? I'd probably captain Mo Salah, purely because Cole Palmer's a 12:30 kickoff, and you know that famous quote from Mahatma Gandhi. You know that famous quote, never back the early kickoff. So yeah, I would probably end up captaining Salah this week, which is why I like the team as well. But yeah, the team looks really good. And then in game week 13, you know, the team's looking pretty decent. We've got Welbeck against Southampton at home. Haaland's playing against Liverpool, which is unfortunate. Salah's playing against Man City. But yeah, we've got 1 free transfer, and this week I think the team would struggle. I'm not gonna lie, it probably would struggle. I could take a -4 and go for Saka and Saliba and take out Salah. However, I don't see myself taking the minus. I don't. I think what I would do instead is simply just take out Konate and put in Saliba, right? And just go for double Arsenal defence there, and I think the team looks a bit better. Unfortunately, I've got Smith Rowe playing against Tottenham. However, if I do think he'll get benched in this case, I would start Dibbling playing against Brighton, unfortunately. But yeah, at the end of the day, I can't have the perfect team every week. I think this week is a week where I would probably suffer, but then we'd go again next week, right? And then the week after, that's then when I would put in Bukayo Saka back in the team for Mohamed Salah, playing against Man United at home, right? That's something that I could do. But look, I'm not going to go on and on forever, right? Because we could go on all the way to a game week 38, but I'm not going to do that, right? But that is the sort of general idea and the general plan behind my team. I think the main sort of the main talking points and the main sort of priority has to be bringing in Mohamed Salah for game week 10 and then bringing in Cole Palmer for game week 12. If I can do that, I'm really happy with the team. So yeah, ultimately I think the team and the transfers look pretty decent. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are down below of my team and of my transfer plans for game week 8. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. That is going to be it for today. Make sure you guys do smash a big thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And guys, I will catch you in the next one. But until then, I'm out. Peace.